Flying the DJI Mini 2 in winter like here at Darling Lake sounds like a lot of fun, doesn't it? But there are a few things to look out for so you don't damage or lose your drone. So today I'm going to share with you 5 tips for flying your drone during the winter cold. Stick around. Tip number 1, keep your batteries warm. The cold weather will reduce the amount of flight time on each battery. You could also see a voltage drop and possibly crash as the drone thinks you are out of juice. I did a real-time world flight test of the DJI Mini 2 in freezing temperatures. If you want to check out that video, you can click or tap on the card above. There are 2 ways that you can keep your batteries warm. The first, you can just simply put it in your coat pocket and your body temperature will naturally keep it warmer than just keeping it inside the drone. The second would be to buy the hand warmers that a lot of outdoor enthusiasts use during the winter. You can store this with your batteries in your backpack, in your DJI bag, and they will stay warm. Tip number 2. Can you fly in the snow? Well, technically yes, but here's what you need to know before taking off. If it's a wet snow, do not fly. If the snow is dry and not coming down on a solid sheet where visibility is poor, then you are most likely good to go. Now, I must make a side note here. I'm not telling you to fly in the snow. You can fly at your own risk, just like I do, and I listen to a lot of other YouTubers. I am just sharing my thoughts based on my experience. Tip number 3. Make sure that your drone blades are dry. You want to avoid any ice buildup on the blades and the surface of the drone body. This can cause a crash real fast. If it's snowing, take off in a covered or sheltered position where you can stay out of the snowfall. Let your drone hover for 1 to 2 minutes before taking off. This will allow your battery and the motors to warm up. Tip number 4, avoid high altitudes and flying through clouds. Again, the absolute worst thing is getting ice buildup on your drone and risking the battery having a voltage dropout and your drone just falls right out of the sky. Just think about it. The higher the altitude, the more extreme the cold is. Also, clouds are made up of moisture. So if you're flying through a cloud, you're inviting issues no matter what. All right, here we are. Tip number 5. Do not forget about keeping yourself warm. If you gotta go out and you gotta wear gloves, wear the right ones. Your hands are very important when flying and you gotta keep them warm. I personally like my PGY Tech gloves, and there are 3 things that I especially appreciate about the way that these gloves are made. The first thing is they're insulated and water resistant with 3M Thinsulate. The second thing that I like is the fingers and the thumbs on both sets of gloves can be flipped open so you don't need to remove your gloves, keeping your hands very warm. The third thing that I like is the material on the tips of the fingers and the thumbs allow you to keep them covered and still use your touchscreens. So you technically don't have to flip them open if you don't want to. I personally fly in the winter and I love it. Some of my favorite drone pics and videos come from flying during the winter time. The tips that I shared with you today have saved me from a lot of heartache and a lot of headache, and I'm sure they will for you too. If you have any questions, comments, or even ideas for what you would like to see in future videos, please leave them in the comments below. If you wish to stick around in the next video, I will give you my honest review of the DJI Fly app used to fly the DJI Mini 2.